Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Just Because Wrestling. We're living in a post-SummerSlam world, post-Thunderdome, and we've got some predictions as well to do this on this week's episode. We've got Payback this weekend
Because Vince McMahon thought it was a good idea to put two pay-per-views back to back
in 7 days. Yeah, why not?
It's
Why the heck not?
Thunderdome.
Thunderdome. Yeah, so we'll run down a bit of SummerSlam. We'll talk about a small bit of news, I suppose, and then we'll get into the Payback predictions. So yeah, let's start with SummerSlam, the first pay-per-view of the Thunderdome era. Thunderdome. What do you think, Jack, as a show as a whole?
I liked it. In fairness, it was a really good show.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
It was the first show we've watched
together
in what, this year, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good opening for the Thunderdome, like a good introduction to the Thunderdome.
So, big show, like.
And you'd never see it coming.
Ooh.
The end. So obviously Roman coming back is cool to see.
Looking hench as fuck.
Looking in the best shape he's been in
Ever.
in his WWE career, probably ever. And he looks like he's going to be heel. Dare I say? If I said 3 times ago, Smith there.
It certainly looks like. I didn't get that vibe straight off when he came back. Everyone was saying like, "Oh, Roman's a heel now because he speared the Fiend and he beat up Braun with a chair and said all these things or whatever." Like, but I just felt like it was just Roman Reigns being like badass Roman Reigns. Like it's kind of hard to. Roman's got a character where like you can only tell if he's a face by the way he talks. If you get me, he talks so much like a babyface that like you obviously know he is one. But like you judging by his actions alone, you can't tell if Roman's a babyface or not because his action, like his whole philosophy is just my art. I'm gonna destroy everyone. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like it's only when he opens his mouth and says "suffer and succotash,"
Yeah.
that's when you know that like, oh, okay, this is the Roman Reigns. Like it'll definitely be interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what. And like, it looks like they are leaning that way after what happened on SmackDown last night.
Well, considering that it's looking like they've paired him with Paul Heyman.
That is fantastic.
Did you see
the segment?
The segment,
did,
yeah, where he said it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler.
Yeah,
camera
I was like,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Heyman said, "Believe that."
Yeah, I'm just hoping, as I said to you just before we went on the air, I am praying that it's not a decoy and it's not a thing where he wins it, then turns on Paul, and then you have him and Brock.
Yeah, I don't like if that is the case.
It's the WWE way.
Yeah, I don't think like if it is the case, I don't think it's now. Like I think we might get a few months of Roman with Paul, because the thing is, right, I think like apparently WWE see no point in bringing back Brock when there's no crowd.
Yeah.
So like, and I doubt Brock will want to show up with no crowd. Like obviously he did at Mania,
but he had to.
He had to at that time, yeah. But I reckon Brock himself would be like, nah, I'll sit this one out. So, and they have Paul Heyman just lying around now, not doing, like, he's not in the executive director role anymore. So you have to do something with him. Like, he's Paul Heyman, you have to do something. So,
yeah.
Look, I'm up for it. Hopefully it's not what you said, and that it's not just a bloody swerve to get back to Roman versus Brock again, because that's been done to death. If they want to do Roman versus Brock with Paul with Roman, I'd be up for that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. But
a babyface Lesnar, would it be?
I mean, it worked with Rollins. It worked with Rollins that time.
Or what you mean?
Do you remember when
Rollins cashed in?
Rollins cashed in on Brock, and then Rollins went on his reign.
He had Heyman. Like
Brock did. Yeah, I know.
Time. Like a babyface Brock without Heyman never worked. Never did.
Yeah.
When Heyman turned him on him initially, never really worked. He did get the title, and went
in the skits with Kurt Angle are pretty funny.
They are cool. But you know, it's been a package deal. It's been an established package deal.
Yeah,
for
it's
a
just one of
long
those things
time.
that work. Like
It's weird because are they doing this now because they've resigned to the fact that Brock isn't going to be around for a long while? Because I don't want to see it that, you know, if Brock does come back and Heyman
is
is
Roman.
both of them,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and they immediately become this little weird tag team.
Imagine that tag team, Jesus. Unless you have Roman on SmackDown and Brock on Raw, and you just keep them separate that way, and have Paul float between the two.
Possibly.
Um,
Could do that, I suppose, but like eventually it would come to a head, surely. Like
Yeah,
they
but
tried,
they
tried the Paul Heyman stable before and it didn't work.
yeah,
With Cesaro and
and
Kurt
Ryback.
and Ryback, yeah.
if they can hold their load, like, and just wait, like, you know.
Well, he's with the right person now.
He's with the right person now. But if they're willing to just have a bit of patience and not just, if Vince just can't, if he can just resist putting Roman versus Brock again next year's Mania again, if we can just,
I'm willing to bet good money that's the main event of next year.
I mean, it's looking likely now, like, because if Roman's with Paul, the immediate connection is there, like,
because you know, like as soon as Roman, because the way he's being booked now, he's not going to get well, he can't now anyway. But like if we do end up in front of a crowd before Mania this year, he's not going to get as bad reactions as
they're gonna think they're on face.
He's had, and then Vince will be like, "Oh, they love him.
He's over."
Yeah, you know.
My God damn it, he's over.
So you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, we wait and
It
see.
wouldn't be like Vince now to be pulling triggers quickly. Like.
Yeah, he's never done that.
Yeah. The Fiend being one.
No, Jesus. Look, we wait and see. Obviously, we're only we only saw Roman come back on Sunday. We hadn't a clue what was happening with him, and now it seems to be he's heading in a more heelish way. We'll wait and see, I guess, to see how it plays out. It's only been a day old, so wait and see what way it goes. We'll see what way Payback goes. I suppose one of the other big talking points coming out of SummerSlam was the debut of Dominic Mysterio in his no holds barred match or street fight, well, same thing anyway, with Seth Rollins, which in my opinion was actually match of the night. I actually thought it was the best match of the whole night. Yeah, it was my favourite match.
I said to you after the show that it's a credit to this whole weekend has been a credit to Adam Cole and Seth Rollins collectively, because they both turned up great matches.
Like, you could argue that the two best matches of the weekend were both celebrity matches.
Is Dominic Mysterio a celebrity?
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
A non-wrestler.
Even though he is a wrestler, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like, it's an attraction match.
He had a good match.
I thought it was great. I mean, obviously, a lot of it was down to Seth. There was a lot of storytelling involved with Ray and stuff, and Angie, his mom as well. And
which it seemed like they just shoehorned her into it last minute.
I got little butterflies when I thought Seth was going to kill his mom. But no, I mean, I thought it was a great match. I thought Dominic, I think, like, this early on in his career, I don't know how long he's been training. I'd assume a couple of years now anyway. But like, I mean, he seems to be excellent. Like, he seems to be really, you know, improving quickly. He seems to be doing really well.
It'll be interesting to see. Like, I think time will tell once he gets away from Ray and Seth.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like, Ray is obviously his dad, but like, he's one of the greatest performers this generation, and Seth Rollins is one of the best performers in the world right now. Even though he's sometimes not booked that way, but you know, people forget that he is still one of the best performers, and that like last Sunday showed that. But it'll be interesting. Like, it's a lot easier to wrestle a Seth Rollins than it is to wrestle a fucking Great Khali, or you know. You know, go in there and do that with who? Name a bad wrestler.
So hard because there's like Mojo Rawley.
Go in and do that with Mojo Rawley.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? So like, it's time will tell. You know, is it a thing where he looked impressive because Seth made him look impressive.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and plus they had the street fight stipulation on it as well. So you could have you'd argue that the stipulate they could just get away with weapon spots and stuff.
It's like that. What's that guy? What was that guy McGee?
Tom McGee.
Tom McGee was it? He wrestled Brett,
and then
Vince was like, "This is going to be their new guy," and then it turned out it was actually how good it was based on how good Brett was. Yeah.
I think it was Tom McGee.
Tom McGee. There's a documentary. There's actually a good documentary about it on the network, The Lost Tapes. But
but yeah, it'd be interesting to see because obviously they have a match now booked for Payback as well, and we'll talk about it in a minute anyway. But I wonder, when this feud is done, I wonder where it goes. Does Dominic, take a step back and continue his training, or does he still hang around with Ray, or what happens next? Because like you said, I mean, obviously this was it was natural for Dominic to kind of enter this feud anyway, just the way it went. But what happens next? Does Dominic start feuding for the US title, or does he end up on Raw Underground? What does he do now? Does him and Ray go for the tag titles?
He said that he wants to go for the tag titles with Ray, so.
Yeah, but I would say it's way too early for him. I mean, fair enough, this feud it makes
could be a
sense.
Mania.
Maybe, but even
but
still.
Then again, Ray is technically wrestling with no contract.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose we wait and see.
Yeah.
Wait and see how it goes.
What, the last time Vince let a wrestler wrestle with no contract when they had main competition on TNT? Lex Luger.
What happened there? Yeah. I couldn't see, I mean, it's hard to judge because I don't know what Rey Mysterio is like as a person, but judging off his in-ring character, he's probably the nicest man in the world. But I couldn't see him holding Vince hostage. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't see him being like, "Oh, I'm not going to show up," or I'm going to ditch this pay-per-view if you don't pay me or if you don't give me my contract or whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't see that coming from Ray, but who knows?
Yeah. But he obviously trusts Ray.
I trust Ray. I mean, he's been
you don't know Ray.
He's been a good influence in my life.
He could be a bad person. You don't know.
Other points from SummerSlam, I suppose. We got the slight disillusion of Bayley and Sasha Banks.
The very, very,
very slight, very, very subtle.
We're getting
molasses.
It's
molasses slide.
Since fucking January.
It's if you don't know, Asuka beat Sasha Banks to become the Raw Women's Champion again. She's now a 2-time champ, and Bayley retained.
I don't get why that was Bayley's fault. The Sasha.
That's it.
It was weird. It was a weird way of doing it.
Yeah, because it. They obviously played it up that Bayley didn't take the bullet for her, so it kind of, but everyone watching was that didn't affect Asuka in any way.
Yeah, it was just a strange way of doing it. But they could any time in WWE, they could have done it a lot easier.
Yeah,
they could have done this whole storyline a lot easier.
They booked themselves into a corner again here, and yeah.
Now they're wrestling for the tag titles this Sunday. Against another
Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And did you see the segment on Raw where this thing happened? Where they set this up? It was Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax were brawling with each other, and then Bayley and Sasha were cheering them on, yeah, fight each other, you idiots. And then they turned around and were we're now friends, and Shayna Baszler.
I saw Shayna Baszler called her something. It was
Haystacks Collude.
Haystacks Collude. You know that came directly from Vince's pen. That's the most outdated reference. Haystack. It's been relevant since 1942. It's that story where Vince bought the XFL and he was asked who was his favourite football player, and he was Wahoo McDaniel, who played football 1913 or something. He just didn't know anything about modern football.
But what's it as well? Like Shayna Baszler with the stupidest call of the night as well, when Nia Jax is like, I want to go for the women's tag team titles and I want you to help me do it. And Shayna Baszler is like, yeah, I'll help you do it if you leave me alone afterwards.
No sense.
It's like, what if you win? Then you're tag champions.
She was a killer on NXT, and now she's made look like a fucking idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got that. Again, like you said, drip fed this feud. Like it
better be a good ending.
It better be. I mean, yeah. I mean, and still there's no end in sight. Like,
so I saw people complain, being like, fans have no patience anymore. Does anyone remember the Mega Powers and all this? But like, it was different because like they didn't have weekly TV.
Yeah, like,
and like they didn't.
You had to wait.
Yeah. Like, and they had like 4 pay-per-views a year, so that's why they could tell.
Yeah.
But like now we have 2 pay-per-views in 2 weeks. They're still drip feeding us.
Yeah. So what else happened on SummerSlam? We had Drew McIntyre retaining his WWE title over Randy Orton in a surprising call, in my opinion.
I wasn't that surprised by it.
I was like,
I predicted Randy, but I wouldn't. I wasn't going to be surprised.
I wasn't against Drew winning, but I was kind of. I was.
The way it happened was really weird, considering. Yeah.
Well, I like the fact that like they protected both finishers. No one hit a finisher in the match.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough, but like this whole thing that like Drew, if you're going to go with Drew, he keeps getting these like gotcha wins, like he's fucking Rey Mysterio. Like.
I wouldn't call him gotcha wins. Like he hits the Claymore out of nowhere, kind of thing. Like, you know,
yeah, but like
Randy does. Like, I mean,
yeah, no, but like he
the backslide,
yeah, and I feel like he wrestled another match where it was like a roll up or a weird kind of.
I don't
the Lashley one.
Did he roll him up? No, he Claymored him.
But it was a distraction, wasn't it? It was something. It wasn't that straightforward. Yeah. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Cena wasn't winning like that.
I know, but like, it's not bothering me that much because like.
Yeah, but if you're gonna go with him, then go with him.
I know that, but like. The matches are still good. You know what I mean?
Well, they are, yeah. And he is very good.
And like I don't mind the Randy one as much because like it was like good wrestling acumen, not a distraction. Do you know what I mean? It's not like Ric Flair came down shucking and jiving and bloody like distracted him. Like Drew outsmarted Randy. Like he scouted the RKO, scouted the punt. Like it looked like he was an intelligent champion. I'd be interested now to see where they go from here because obviously on Raw Randy punted him 3 times and like apparently rode him off TV. Well, not rode him off TV, but like put him out, you know, indefinitely, probably for a week. And like he punted him twice, and Drew was like coming for him at the end of the show. Like, you know what I mean? I know they're trying to paint Drew as like this incredibly tough person, like, but like. Come on now.
He kicked out a 1 out in F5 at WrestleMania.
That's his like new thing, yeah. They're kicking out a 1.
Yeah, but I don't really like it because it's burying a lot of finishers.
Yeah. I mean, you can get by it if you just do it early in the match. Like if, like, say Randy hit the RKO straight off the bell, you can like that'll be okay because like it's not a finisher per se. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, try and avoid it as much as you can because like you said, it can make people look very weak as well. Like, so yeah. What else happened on SummerSlam? Trying to think of other, like, nothing, you know, all just matches and stuff you can go back and watch. Trying to think what else.
The Sonya Deville, Mandy Rhodes.
Oh yes, of course. So Sonya's gone from TV apparently. Well, no, it's she's gone to, you know, she's obviously had a serious ordeal over the last like couple of weeks and taken some time off to, you know, deal with court and deal with you know, just to deal with her, like, just recover herself, like, from, like, what can I only imagine. It was a seriously traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean...
And apparently the reason for her, for the change in the match leading up to it... Sorry, I just moved on. Apparently the reason for it was that, her lawyers didn't want... her being involved in court, so apparently she was meant to lose that and get her head shaved. Yeah. So, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I know, it's fair enough, and it's a shame that, like, this dude ruined everything, but,
Well, yeah, and, you know, she's getting more threats as well and stuff, so, you know, that isn't good. Wrestling fans should do better.
I know, like some guys just need to seriously rein it in.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about that guy. I suppose I'll talk about something and then segue into a bit of news, I guess. Obviously on the Saturday we had NXT TakeOver 30, and in the main event, I suppose the biggest thing that happened was we had Karrion Kross becoming the new NXT champion, defeating Keith Lee in the main event. But like I said, this segues into a bit of news because Karrion Kross separated his shoulder in that match and had to unfortunately vacate the title.
He got Finn Balor.
Yeah. Same shoulder too.
Yeah. Same injury, same shoulder.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you know what?
Same weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
And literally, it's almost like
mirror.
Yeah, mirror image, because like meteoric rise through the ranks. Like same with Finn when Finn arrived on Raw. Like literally beat Roman on his first night.
Yeah.
Like, jeez. I don't know. Do you know what spot actually caused the injury?
No,
I don't.
Do you know? I thought you were.
No, I was I was asking you.
I would hazard a guess to say it was the
Doomsday Saito off the top.
No, I was going to say, well, it could have been that. I was going to say him choking him out and Lee just landing on him wrong, maybe.
Oh, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
That sounds likely. But yeah, Karrion Kross, his NXT title reign last 4 days. Shortest reign now in history. Had to vacate the title. But in all fairness, in ways of vacating a title, like he cut one hell of a promo.
Yeah.
Like, you know, saying like Doomsday is still coming and God help any obstacles to get in my way when I come back. Scarlett with the hourglass putting the TikTok on the title belt, you know, lighting the blue symbol on fire. Everything about it was class. Kind of still retained his mystique without him sounding like. Yeah. And I love that he said like he's not vacating the title, like they're making me give it up.
Yeah.
That like they're not letting me, like he's like I enjoy the pain, but they're not letting me. Like that was like. Because I was kind of worried, like, if he just comes out as Buddy.
My shoulder's sore, lads, I'm going to take 6 months off.
Yeah, like, if he came out as Kevin Kazar and was like, oh, we have to, oh, my shoulder's owie.
Yeah,
I know, I mean, a bit more than owie, but anyway. But, this then leads into our second part of this story, which is next week on a special Tuesday edition of NXT. We have a Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match, 60 minutes. Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano. If that doesn't scream match of the year, I don't know what does. I mean, how
the Iron Man concept of it is weird.
I don't mind about it.
And it leans. It tells me that there's more to this story.
Well, there'll be storyline progression, I say, through it, because there'll be ways of writing out like one of them at least, anyway.
Yeah.
Because did you notice as well? Actually, I don't know if you noticed this, but this week we had Kyle O'Reilly versus who did he wrestle this week on NXT? It was Kyle O'Reilly.
I can't remember.
Who did he wrestle?
I didn't see NXT this week. I just saw the clips.
I can't remember who he wrestled. Doesn't matter. He wrestled a match.
Was it one of Imperium? No.
No, it was. I can't think of
Zango.
No, it was can't.
No, I was thinking of Ace Austin, but that was Ciampa.
Ace Austin.
Not Ace Austin.
Jake Atlas. 2 seconds. I was let's do Google quickly. But who did he wrestle?
Who do you think's gonna win the 4-way, or do you think it's going in another direction? Because I have a theory to it.
Okay. Well, if you have a theory to it, wait a 2 seconds. Let me just see. Oh, Drake Maverick.
Oh.
Drake Maverick. He wrestled Drake Maverick, but like he was being heel, like in all of Undisputed Era being heel. But Adam Cole wasn't there, and like it's interesting because Adam Cole was the de facto babyface in his last feud.
Yeah,
which is interesting that he wasn't there. But anyway, back to who I think will win. It's got to be Finn. Like Finn needs it the most. He needs it the most. Like
I think so too. I think he needs it the most, but I don't think he's gonna win it.
Like okay, like I'm just doing the maths in my head. Like I mean, Cole just came off the big long title reign. He doesn't need the belt again. Like Ciampa just returned and turned heel. You okay?
Excuse me. Yeah.
Ciampa just came back and turned heel. You could argue for him. You could argue that like he takes the belt back, maybe. Gargano, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Gargano at the moment. I'm not enjoying his character at the moment. It's, I don't know. But like just Finn's the one guy. Like they brought him back to NXT and they've done nothing really with him. Like turned him heel. I mean, put the belt on him. I don't know. It just makes sense to me. Go on, tell me your theory.
I agree, because I've been saying this for weeks about Balor, that they need to start doing something with him to make the reason him coming back to NXT actually mean something. So I would be a proponent for him winning, but I don't think he's going to. I think it'll... the Iron Man match is weird, because like why would you not just have a normal 4-way?
Because they have to go 60 minutes, like just why can't you enjoy things?
No. There's a reason for it. So I think the way it's going to end is Gargano and Ciampa will end on the same number.
Okay.
And it'll lead to NXT dusting off the old book from the bookshelf. Yeah. And
when in doubt,
we'll get Gargano Ciampa. Yeah, break in case of emergency.
Yeah.
We'll get Ciampa Gargano, but with Gargano.
I'm all heel now.
Gargano turning face again.
He needs to turn face, but I don't like his heel thing. It was fine at the start, but that's kind of.
I think they're going to turn him face now.
Like, this is certainly the way to do it. If you just have him wrestle an hour as Johnny Gargano, do you know what I mean? Like, how else do you turn a man face? Like, so what happens with Cole and Balor then?
Nothing. I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. I don't know. Cole
that's the thing. Like, you have to write out 3 guys, or well, in your case, 2 people.
Okay, so Cole goes back, kind of.
Undisputed Era come down and attack him.
Possibly, or else it's just an infighting thing with the Undisputed Era going on for a while where they're teasing, and Balor will just go back to doing what he's doing. You know,
nothing.
yeah.
I'd be so up for Cole versus O'Reilly on a takeover. Those 2 have never had a bad match.
Their Ring of Honor matches have been really, really good.
They had a match. It was a final battle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what a match.
And Kyle O'Reilly is a really, really good babyface as well.
Yeah, he's
as good as he is heel. He's a very good babyface.
Yeah. And you know what the thing is, right? I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, this is before TakeOver, because I was very concerned that we're going to get an Undisputed Era breakup at TakeOver. I'm very worried for Bobby Fish, because like he's the only one who, like, I feel like, you know, won't survive without the Undisputed Era, and especially if they all go singles in a singles fight, like in singles action, like especially as well, he's like 43 or 44 or something.
Yeah,
and he's just the only one who doesn't feel like he has a character. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have a personality. And I'm not ragging on Bobby Fish because he's great, but like, you know, I worry about him. I worry about Bobby.
He is also a lot older than everyone else.
He's 44, I think.
So I think the future for Bobby Fish with this is he's going to have one like kind of big run with the Undisputed Era, and then he's going to like retire and end up at the Performance Center in some capacity.
Yeah,
like, as a trainer, I wouldn't producer or something.
I wouldn't be against like the Undisputed Era ending in NXT as well, and they're all being called up like individually. Like, I wouldn't be against that, like, because they're such an NXT thing that like, and like I'd just
be afraid that they'd fuck them up in the main roster.
That's it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Rather just leave it as a good thing.
Yeah, just leave it be. Like, because like they're already being recognised even by WWE themselves as one of the greatest factions of all time, and just leave that. Like, don't tarnish them. Do you know what I mean?
Retribution is obviously the greatest.
Obviously,
faction
of
all
time.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, I was listening to I think it was called the Holic Pitches video. Mafu was saying something like in one of his pitches that Retribution will be backstage causing havoc, you know, as they usually would, like, you know, putting taking plastic bottles out of the recycling bin and putting it into the
That's it, like,
yeah.
high five. No, that's their thing. Like, they're not threatening. they're just a nuisance. Yeah,
like, what's next is like you'll see one of them like spray print El Alberto on like the side and he's him run away.
I know, they're like the Hamburglar. Apparently, speaking of Retribution, apparently 2 members have been confirmed.
Well, one of them is clearly Dijakovic.
He's like 7 foot tall.
He's obviously Dijakovic.
Yeah, apparently one is Dominik Dijakovic and the other is Mia Yim. Apparently one of them is Mia Yim as well.
Interesting.
Because
I seen one resemble Ember Moon.
Yeah, but I don't know about her. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The worst kept secret in the world is
Dijakovic.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, like, the size of him, and he looks the same. It's like the same build and everything. Like,
yeah,
like of course he would wear like a skin tight hoodie. But yeah, apparently Mia Yim's gone up as well, which is weird because, like, I mean, she lost clean to Shotzi Blackhair this week on NXT as well. So, you know,
yeah,
putting someone over on her way out, like,
interesting.
And it just seems as well like you can't do something in NXT or in WWE without affecting, you know, like, it's like Keith Lee got called up to Raw, and like he couldn't do that without affecting Mia Yim because they're in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? Joe, like,
yeah.
When Charlotte gets transferred over to SmackDown, Andrade obviously has to go with her then, like, you know what I mean? And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We had
actually, just the thing, just off the top of my head there, now that you said that, JR, I don't know if it was in his book or did he say in his podcast that he was like, when the draft happened, his only thing to Vince was like, can you please put like can you keep couples together, like, and, you know, it happened. And then he said, like, as soon as he stopped being talent relations, the head of talent relations, they like the next draft they like split a load of couples, and it was like that
ruining lives.
it was just to do it, just to spite JR, like.
Jesus. I know. Says a lot about Vince, like.
And obviously John Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
Who JR despises.
Bit of Johnny Ace. Speaking of John Laurinaitis, segue onto the Bella twins. I'm not talking about their kids. I don't want to talk about their kids. But they were meant to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Hall of Fame is according now to WrestleVotes, who are nearly always on the ball. Apparently, the plan was to do it at SummerSlam because they were expecting fans for SummerSlam. Obviously, that didn't happen. Not in a live capacity anyway. So apparently the plan now is for next year that the 2020 inductees will be the 2021 inductees.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Did you see any of Dynamite this week?
I saw bits. Yeah.
What did you think of the crowd being there?
Okay, do you know at the start, do you know when Jericho came out and just made a very overt entrance?
Yeah,
just so the crowd could sing Judas. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, don't let me know the only reason they brought back the crowd was to sing that song.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. Like, they're up in the bleachers. They still kept the wrestlers around the ring.
Yeah. I think it made a difference a bit.
It was okay.
How
many were actually there? Like
600 apparently.
Was it?
Yeah.
What?
It was 10% capacity. Sure, that thing holds 60,000 people. Like
6,000
or 6,000.
60,000.
Sorry. Yeah, it holds 6,000 people. Is 10% capacity.
600 people didn't feel like 600 people.
That's because they're in a 6,000 seater stadium.
That too, but I also feel like obviously they're up in the bleachers and stuff, like, John.
Well, yeah, but yeah, it's there was about 600 people there, so you know it made a difference. I thought like the crowd like was more genuine now, they were cheering, and whatever, and I thought it was really good for the Moxley MJF segment because like the burns in the segment actually felt like there were burns and not like
the crowd were going
ooh like they were like actually popping
like
for
wilding out cool.
Like when MJF was like once this done you can tell your hot wife that I'm single and all this. It was really really good and
enjoy that segment actually.
It was good. It was a little weird at the end when he was like,
I get to fight your lawyer.
Because I don't get why MJF would be so upset about that. Because he was like, oh no,
my lawyer.
Like, is his lawyer like related to him? Is that
See, apparently, like Joe, the lawyer got like really over online and stuff like for his promo like last week and stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's a YouTuber. He's a wrestling YouTuber and like a podcaster and stuff.
Okay.
I can't remember what he's from.
Interesting.
I can't remember the name of his channel, but
yeah, AEW. If you're looking for any extras,
we'll fly out to Jacksonville.
We'll hang around Dave's place.
So that's official now for their match that the paradigm shift is banned, which I think is the stupidest like stipulation that they could have put in, because I think Moxley, his last 2 title defenses, he's finished
won
without the paradigm shift.
Kind of, it makes no sense, and like the commentators were hyping up how good he is at adapting in different circumstances. Like Brody Lee, he used a choke. For Brian Cage, he used the arm thing.
Yeah.
Like they said like that he can beat you with anything.
He choked out Darby Allin as well.
Yeah, so it makes no sense as to why the paradigm. When was the last time he won with a paradigm shift?
Literally, I don't know.
Like it's weird, but
like it'll add a bit of drama to the match, because I'm sure like he'll go for it. Like Joe, that classic wrestling trope that like the babyface immediately becomes.
Happened in New Japan this week. Did you see that?
Yeah, the no finishers match.
Yeah, and I forget who it was.
Kojima and Desperado.
But it was the Desperado did his finisher and he got disqualified.
No, Kojima did. Because Desperado won.
Yeah. So he did his finisher, got disqualified.
Yeah,
because it was stupid.
No, because the thing is, right? It was Kojima's finisher is the lariat, so like shows the pure like transitional move anyway.
I
like,
suppose. But
yeah, we have the King of Pro Wrestling tournament this week. The fatal 4-way.
Oh yeah. But the AEW had a good show. I watched that fully live this week. It was a really good show.
Yeah, it was strong. Some storyline development, like
it was strong with the Hangman and the Bucks and stuff. And we'll talk more about that next week as we lean towards All In or All Out. Yeah, All In. Jesus, I was looking at the poster. So that'd be interesting. Is there any more you want to talk about in terms of news, or should we just get into the mother of all pay-per-views, that is Payback?
Payback. I had something else and it escaped me. Couldn't have been that important. Oh, the PWI 500 came out.
Oh, how do we forget?
Yeah.
Now,
well, the first was the top 25, I think.
Do you have the list?
I don't.
And we'll break through it.
Okay. I can get it. Like
get it up. No, I don't.
Or Joe Rogan.
Jamie, will you pull that up?
Yeah. I'll get it there. Do you know the full list, or just?
I know who's first, third, second, 18th, and 25th.
18th and 25th. I know who 25th is.
25th is Ospreay.
No,
okay. Ospreay's in the 20s anyway, and I know Braun is 18 because people were freaking out because Braun was ahead of Ospreay.
I'll get the.
But like,
20.
Ospreay didn't wrestle half the year. Like.
Okay, I have the top 10.
Okay, call me into the top 10.
Okay, so I'll go off last year and then do this year. So
okay.
I'll say who's this year last year. So last year, 10th.
We do this every year. Go on.
I know we do it. So I love it. I love fucking stats.
Let me get my binder.
Last year, 10 was Will Ospreay. This year it was AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Last year, 9 was Hiroshi Tanahashi. This year was Kofi Kingston.
Really?
Yeah, Kofi Kingston was 9 this year. That's
out of the blue.
Yeah, because he was well past the title.
He didn't wrestle as a singles.
Yeah.
Oh, just for SummerSlam. Because they count from June last year to July.
Champion, so was he?
But, yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird one.
8 last year was Kenny Omega. This year was Seth Rollins. Last year's number 1. That's fair enough, I suppose. 7, sorry. Last year was Roman Reigns. This year was Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
Cody would love that.
Oh yeah.
Last year, number 5. Was it 5? Yeah. Last year 5 was Johnny Gargano. This year was Kazuchika Okada.
Okay.
4 last year was Kazuchika Okada. This year was Tetsuya Naito.
Okay.
4 last year was Kofi Kingston. This year was Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
3 last year was AJ Styles. This year was Chris Jericho. 2 last year was Daniel Bryan. This year was Adam Cole. And 1 last year was Seth Rollins. This year was Jon Moxley.
Interesting.
I'll see if I can find the last 25.
Kofi Kingston's the only weird one there. I think everyone else has their place.
Yeah.
Kenny not being in the top 10, that must be the first time in a while.
Yeah, I know Kenny's in the top 25, I know that. Well, I know.
But him not being in the top 10
is weird, like.
is strange.
It's a testament to what they've done with him in AEW, like.
Yeah. There's another one. There's another person I was thinking. Oh, MJF. Where did MJF end up?
Okay, so MJF. I'll go through there. So obviously, just did the top 10. 11 was Keith Lee.
Yeah.
12 Brock Lesnar. 13 Kenny Omega. 14 Roman Reigns. 15 Nick Aldis. 16 Bray Wyatt. 17 Kota Ibushi. 18 Roosh. 19 Braun Strowman. 20 Jacob Fatu. 21 Will Ospreay. 22 MJF. 23 Aleister Black. 24 Kento Miyahara. And 25 Walter. And then I'll round it off to 30. 26 was Shinsuke Nakamura. 27 was Andrade. 28 was Jay White. 29 was Roderick Strong. And 30 was Tommaso Ciampa.
Okay, a few weird ones.
Yeah.
Nakamura was really high.
Nakamura's a strange
It was a weird one.
Nakamura placed higher than Adam Page, Kevin Owens,
that's weird.
Hiroshi Tanahashi, Pac. You know.
That's strange. There was Jacob Fatu was really high.
Jacob Fatu was really high, but he's been on fire in MJF. Or not MJF. MLW.
MLW. Yeah, but would you put him ahead of MJF? I wouldn't think so.
Like, does it go off just in-ring stuff? And just
it goes off everything. Accomplishments, in-ring.
Like he's the longest reigning MLW World Heavyweight Champion now as well. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Jacob Fatu. Always have been. Ever since I found him, like.
Yeah, he's off the street.
I probably would have put MJF ahead of him though. To be fair, just out of sheer prominence, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean? Like
Hangman was really low as well.
Hangman was
for the year he's had
33.
Yeah, 33 is a disjustice or a disservice.
They released the top 100. Like Johnny Gargano was 46, Randy Orton 48, Sami Callihan 57, Shingo Takagi 53. Should be way higher. Shingo Takagi's low-key one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like.
Yeah.
Darby Allin 55.
See, the thing is with these Japanese wrestlers as well, it goes based off, you know, I think there's a rule as well that you have to have wrestled once every month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so to qualify for the list.
Yeah.
But they obviously go based off activity as well, and a lot of these Japanese wrestlers missed half the year with...
What? Otis got 69. What's interesting as well about this year's list is that women are featured on it as well.
Yeah, I saw Kylie Ray was on it.
Kylie Ray's at 78.
That's high for Kylie Ray.
Yeah, surprising actually, considering she barely wrestled. Do you know what I mean? Think about it, like
Wrestle Impact, but she was inactive with AEW for a while as well.
Tessa Blanchard at 83.
Her being behind Kylie Ray, despite her flaws and all that, I still as a wrestler, I wouldn't put her behind Kylie Ray and what she accomplished this year as well.
Karrion Kross at 96.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
He'll be higher next year.
Number 100 was John Morrison.
Interesting.
I don't think he'd be much higher though if he's injured for the majority of the year. Like.
Yeah, who do you think will be number one next year? Let's take a look at it.
The way things keep going, Drew could be up there.
I was going to say Drew, yeah. Or Roman.
Roman, maybe.
If Roman has a run now from here to
next year,
yeah. It's Roman.
Oh yeah, could be.
If he's still with Paul, and it works out. Actually, Bray Wyatt was very low on that list.
Yeah, because the feed was in full swing.
Yeah, very low.
When did he debut? SummerSlam?
SummerSlam last year. Yeah, very low.
I suppose the Goldberg stuff didn't help him, and Seth Rollins.
Other than that, like he think about it, he got a clean win over Cena.
Yeah, and did win the Universal title
twice.
Well, the second time was outside the.
Yeah, I suppose, but still, yeah.
But yeah, Kofi is very high.
Kofi is really, really bizarrely high.
Aleister Black's pretty high too, but he did go unbeaten. Like, to see that he didn't lose on Raw for like a year.
Oh yeah, but well, that's fair enough.
Yeah. PCO was 31. Daniel Bryan 32. Finn Balor 35. Baron Corbin 41. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's always a weird list. It's always one. It always causes controversy because people obviously people's favorites are always like they always think they should be higher up. Like,
well, yeah.
You know.
But anyway, so should we get into talking about
Payback? I'll get the old Cardaroo up there. Yeah, the most exciting pay-per-view of the year on a week's build.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
You know how much care they put into their pay-per-views, give them a week to breathe.
Oh yeah, Jesus. I mean, like, all things considered, there's 3 matches that I'm looking forward to. So that's 50% of the card. That's not too bad, I guess. It's more than some matches. It's more than some pay-per-views. So we'll kick things off, I suppose, with the match that just got announced last night. Probably the most exciting match on the whole card, let's be fair. It is Matt Riddle versus King Corbin. Could be on an episode of SmackDown. We're putting it on a pay-per-view.
This pay-per-view is the glorified episode of SmackDown. Like, the thing is, right, if this match was on SmackDown, it wouldn't even main event SmackDown. Yeah. So why God's name is it on a pay-per-view?
I don't know.
I'm obviously going to go Riddle.
Yeah, it's first pay-per-view match in WWE. Yeah, Matt Riddle. Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking forward to that.
It's been underwhelming for Riddle since he's come up.
Yeah, I mean...
Obviously, it was marred with controversy when he first came up, so that didn't help either, but...
Like, put it, like, having Corbin
like, he started by... But that's the gateway to every feud, and it kills every NXT superstar to come up, feud with Baron Corbin, and then, oh, fuck.
He's like the anti-NXT superstar. Yeah, but, I don't know. Riddle will win.
Well, he did manage to have the one bad match in the greatest takeover of all time. Baron Corbin when he wrestled Austin Aries.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Dallas, yeah.
Do you think that's the greatest takeover of all time?
Yeah.
New Orleans, but.
I don't think so.
What? No, but New Orleans is way better.
The Ciampa Gargano one.
You had the
ladder match as well.
Ladder match. Ciampa Gargano. You had Aleister Black and Andrade as well, which was really good. And you had Undisputed Era probably in some class tag team match.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch them both, but I really loved that.
That was the turn, was it? Was that the Roderick Strong heel turn? Was that not New Orleans? Or am I thinking of a different one?
It might have been, actually.
Yeah.
It is up. It's 1 and 2 because.
Are you just thinking of like Nakamura and Zayn?
A Balor and Joe had a great match.
I still think New Orleans is better.
And who? Yeah, Nakamura. I thought that was a great takeover.
Like,
but anyway, he managed to have one. Because that was in the middle of the run where NXT Takeover didn't have a bad match like ever, and like he still managed to have a bad match.
I remember watching him being like, "This is crap,"
because it was Austin Aries' debut.
Yeah. God, Corbin sucks. He's good at his job, but like, don't put him as the first feud
for everyone.
Yeah, like Jesus. So anyway, moving on. The next match. It is the WWE United States Championship match between the United States Champion Apollo Crews defending his title against Bobby Lashley. Who'd you have him like?
Bobby Lashley?
Big Bob.
I think.
Big Baldy Bob.
I don't really care.
Big Baldy Bouldery Bob.
The Hurt Business.
No, they're kind of just coasting now.
They're kind of coasting, and
they need to win. They need to win something.
They need to win something, and I think Vince is like, oh, they're good. Let's have them on 80% of Raw. You know what I mean? Like, let's just have them on every segment.
I know. Like the fact that they were teased as like the mega heels of Raw Underground, and then just haven't been on it.
Well, but Lashley was on this week.
I know that, yeah, but still.
Yeah.
I'm going Bobby Lashley as well because like. Apollo Crews has beaten the crap out of MVP 6 ways to Sunday for the last, like, how long? Like, yeah, your dog's barking.
Interesting.
So now Lashley has to win. Come on
now. Yeah.
Sorry about Apollo, like, but, you know, your reign has to end now. I'm sorry. I mean, like, I feel
bad. You smiley bastard.
I know. I mean, his reign hasn't been the worst, but it hasn't been the best either. So, like, just
these two could literally be big brother and little brother. Like.
Yeah, I know.
It's
they
so
have
funny.
the same body, just different heads.
Because Because I remember when Apollo was signed and people were like, "This is just a flippy Bobby Lashley."
Yeah.
Like,
see though the arm wrestling segment on Raw this week, and Lashley or Apollo cheated to win.
yeah.
Like, hello there.
Do you see? Apparently,
Apollo.
the I've seen that the reason they did an arm wrestling segment or whatever is because apparently their arm wrestling things get ridiculous views on YouTube. Like they've won. It was the last one they did. Well, can you remember they did an arm wrestling like a couple of months back?
No,
It was on SmackDown or something.
Brawling someone.
I don't know. Was Sheamus and someone? I'm not sure, but whoever it was anyway, the thing did 82 million views on YouTube. Like, that is ridiculous. So like,
for arm wrestling.
Yeah, so I think that's why they've been doing it, but yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. But yeah, Bobby Lashley, new US champion. Just to give the Hurt Business something to do, because I like a good faction, and yeah, I like to see him do well. Maybe a new member debuts. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Could do.
Next up, there's another match that's just aces. It is the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match between the Women's Tag Team Champions Bayley and Sasha Banks defend their titles against the mega team of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Who do you have in mind?
Bayley and Sasha Banks.
Okay.
I think there's going to be like, I don't know. I don't think they can work together. Nia and
will they? Won't they?
Yeah, and I hate that. I hate that feud, or I hate that storyline. And also, like, I'm not gonna ever predict that the turn event is gonna happen because you're playing the odds by saying it won't. So yeah.
I'm gonna go Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax to win this one.
You're a braver man than I am.
No, I'm not. But I'm not predicting the turn. I don't think the turn happens here. I don't think it does.
I don't know. They're a fucking stupid tag team.
Yeah. Oh, Baszler and Jax.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that, but I think WWE can't resist doing the "can they get along" storyline.
Like, could they not have just put them in with a like a proper team and have them lose and then
Riot Squad, like.
Riot Squad. Well, are they teaming now?
Yeah, but like, there's a story there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
or do with the Iconics.
Yeah.
Or like,
Triple Threat or something.
But like have them lose to a more cohesive unit.
Yeah.
And have the dissension going there, because if they lose to fucking.
Well, I suppose you could tell the story. I mean, I don't know if they'll really be nuanced enough to do it, but like, you could tell the story that like Bayley and Sasha can't even function enough to take on a people.
Do you think Vince is going to tell that?
No,
story?
I know. I just said that. I just said that.
Like,
but no, I'm going Baszler and Jax.
He'll go, look at the mass.
Look at Haystack Scalloon over there.
But Vince, Nia Jax, after breaking 4 people's backs, I don't care. Push her to the moon.
Look at the beef.
She's the Rock's cousin. She's the Rock's cousin. She's the Rock's cousin.
Samoans. No, yeah, I'm going Baszler and Jax because we cannot resist doing this. Can't resist doing the enemies, the frenemy thing. Like,
did it ever work?
Trying to think.
Austin Taker do it. It was okay.
What's his name?
Michael Cena did it. It was okay.
Yeah, Cena's done it with like everyone. Cena did it with the Miz. He did it with Batista.
It only ever worked with Michaels. And
Um,
remember that battle royal? It was that tag team battle royal.
yeah,
And Michaels eliminated Cena because he didn't want the belts.
yeah.
It was cool.
What's his name? Eddie and Ray.
Well, they were a proper tag team first. And then
Yeah.
wrestled each other at WrestleMania to see who would just be the better man.
Yeah,
And then Ray won and it turned Eddie heel.
true. Rock and Mankind at the start.
They were kind of more of an odd couple. Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, Rock and Mankind are probably the best example of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ones. Kane and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Kane Kane.
That was funny.
Yeah, that's the start. Like that's the thing. Like it was more comedy than like.
But those backstage segments are one of the funniest things I've ever
Dr.
produced.
Shelby.
Like post Brian Gewirtz is probably the funniest segment they've ever produced.
Yeah.
Like
no, that scene in the cafe is just like where they take the piss out of When Harry Met Sally. Is just so funny. But there's like yes.
I love the one where they're in the group therapy, and it's like they're talking about, or he goes, Kane, do you want to share some of your pasts? And he's like, well, I grew up to spawn. He's like, he says it like I was born to spawn of a demon, and I got emotionally disfigured when my brother burned my house down. So eventually, 10 years later, I came back, and it's like I showed up to end his life, and he goes on this whole like proper true story of Kane's whole arc, where he's like, and it's like. So the way like some things do that like time lapse where it looks like there's a lot of time gone, it just goes back to me. He's like, and I once electrocuted a man's testicles and also set Jim Ross on fire. He's like, your man's there, like people are like sweating. Like it's one of the best things I've ever produced.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I said Brian and Kane are up there as well for like
best oddball tag team.
But not even best oddball tag team, but like the can they get along thing, like
yeah.
But then
they just didn't put a completely different spin to it.
Yeah, they made it a comedy thing.
They made their own.
Rather than like, are they gonna fight each other?
Yeah,
yeah. Like, it was just bickering.
I'm the tag team champions.
Yeah.
I'm the tag team champion.
You're a goat. I am not a goat.
Or do you remember that segment where like Daniel Bryan's like down? This is like kind of after when they were a proper like a tag team now, when they'd gone to the group therapy and all that, where they were actually a team.
Yeah.
And Daniel Bryan's like down, and Kane's trying to like perk him up, and he's like, "You're Daniel Bryan. You're one of the best technical wrestlers in this generation." And he's like giving him all this pep talk, and he's like, "Nah, I don't get it." Or he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "I don't know about that, Kane." And they bump into Bret Hart, and Bret Hart's like, "Why are you down, Brian?" And Brian's like, I'm just down on myself. And Bret Hart's like, "You're Daniel Bryan. You're one of the best technical wrestlers in this world." Says the exact same thing Kane does. And Daniel Bryan's like, "Gee, thanks, Bret." And he leaves, and like Kane's like, "How did that work with him and not me?" And he's like, "Well, that's Bret Hart. He's the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. You're just Kane." It's the way he says it. He's like, "You're just Kane." It's so funny.
Yeah, no, they were brilliant. Team Hell No was class when it first came on.
Yeah,
really good. Moving on, we've got another. It's a big tag team match. Probably the blow off of this feud is Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio teaming up to take on Seth Rollins and Murphy.
I'm gonna predict it till it happens. Dominic turns on Rey and aligns with Seth. No, I think Dominic and Rey are winning here, surely.
Yeah. I'm going to say Dominic and Rey win here. Dominic gets the pin. I would say not on Rollins.
Get on Murphy.
On Murphy, I say.
Yeah. Maybe.
Duel 619 to
possibly
to Seth. Yeah, I mean,
I think it might lead then to Seth exiling Murphy or something like that, and we might get a Seth Murphy's feud.
But then he doesn't have a stable.
He'll recruit new people.
He should do. He needs to. He only has one.
Yeah, he's not much of a cult leader with one person.
Yeah. So, is Austin Theory went down to NXT again this week? Actually, see that?
Did he?
Yeah. Looks like he's in a feud with Bronson Reed.
It's weird that they're just flim-flamming him around, aren't they? Like he was in the Zelina Vega thing.
Yeah.
And then he was in
the greater.
Obviously it was just him, and that was pushing for him. And then
but apparently, and he was also caught up in the Me Too movement as well, or not Me Too movement, the Speaking Out movement.
Was he?
He was, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then why is he back on TV? So.
Well, Velveteen Dream's back on
Well,
TV, so you can't say nothing.
Also true.
So yeah, I'm going Dominic and Rey though. Mysterio family. Just this feels like the end of the feud. It should be the end of the feud.
Yeah.
Moving on to one of the big marquee singles, or probably the only big marquee singles match of the night. It is Keith Lee going 1-on-1 with Randy Orton. it's a huge spot for Keith Lee to be in his first pay-per-view match, which that's what's giving me a little bit of hope. I know that his debut wasn't the best because they changed his music and they changed his gear, which, you know, why?
Yeah.
But well, obviously we explained the music thing, or did we do that off the camera?
I can't remember now.
But yeah, we explained that like there's.
Oh no, we didn't. So I said that to you before we went on the air. So apparently the reason for the music change and for a lot of changes that are going to happen in the future is that there is a dispute with CFO who are the creator of the music and who are now a disbanded group. So they're not in operation anymore. So there's a dispute with their record label and WWE. Apparently the record label are looking for a lot more royalties than WWE are willing to pay, so I'm not a lawyer, but you know, it just doesn't seem like they're coming to an agreement. So WWE are looking to change a lot of CFO's music and get rid of it, which is a shame because they have been a part of some of the best themes post Jim Johnson. So you know, it's a shame, but what can you do? But that's partially the explanation as to why Keith Lee's music changed.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why they changed his gear. I mean, like,
I don't know.
I know why they put him in his skirt, but yeah, but like, I'm willing to forgive that if they push him strong. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, Keith Lee said himself anyway on Twitter that like, you know, have patience. Like, leave this stuff up to me. Like, I'll sort it out. Like, I mean, it's literally his first week on the main roster. Like, let's give him a chance, I suppose. Because like he does seem like a guy who will succeed. Like no matter what, like he seems like a guy who will make anything kind of work. Like
we said this about Aleister Black.
Aleister Black's doing well. Aleister Black is doing well. Okay, he's been in prominent view the entire time.
Said this about Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke Nakamura is former Intercontinental Champion and former United States Champion. God damn it, and the current SmackDown Tag Team Champion. Give him a fucking break. He was in the WWE title match at WrestleMania. Will you take some wins here? This is you have to do.
You
this
know
for,
I'm right.
You have to.
You
do
know
this
you're.
No, I'm saying you have to do this with WWE. You have to take the small victories, okay? Otherwise, you'll never be happy. Pessimist.
And I'm going to continue to be a pessimist because I say Keith Lee is going to get his head kicked off his shoulders by Randy Orton.
I think he's losing too, but I think like just you know.
And he's going to be written off TV as quickly as he's come on it.
Why? Why do that?
This is Vince.
No, give me a genuine, actual, articulate answer besides it's Vince. There has to be a reason here.
Because Vince McMahon watches NXT and he's like a petulant child and says, I want those toys, and then he has them and he's like, actually I want those toys now again. So he's going to be watching NXT this week being like, which one can I steal? And not play with.
I don't think he's gonna write him off. I think Keith Lee loses, but I don't think he's
not gonna write him off, but he's just not gonna be written on TV anymore.
No, that's not happening. I promise you that's not happening. I'm so confident.
You just need to accept. The quicker you accept,
you just need to be happy. What's wrong with you?
The man is wearing a skirt. It's already over. Relax.
No, I will not.
It's a losing battle.
I will not give up on him. No, I'm going Randy Orton as well because obviously Randy Orton's winning because like
he also has music that sounds like it came straight out of WWE 2K18.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, did you hear the most WWE thing ever? No. Apparently, they're dubbing some of the crowd noise. You know, like they're for the Thunderdome. But apparently it's been taken from 2K because someone heard a kid chant, "Let's go Cena." So they realised they're taking it from the video game.
Oh god! Of course they are. Yeah, Randy Orton's winning because like he's in a feud with Drew still, and like all things aside, he's the kind of he's the one with the momentum behind him. If you just look at this from any other angle.
Okay.
And finally, the main event is a no-holds-barred triple threat match, even though I thought all triple threat matches were no-holds-barred, but anyway. For the Universal Championship, it is the Universal Champion, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, defending his title against Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman in his corner, and Braun Strowman.
And Braun Strowman.
Who do you have in mind?
See, it's tough.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. We all just agree now, though, that Braun's taking the
No,
pin.
Braun is getting fucked in a dumpster. Like
Yeah,
he's
Braun's getting pinned.
Yeah, it's just who's pinning him.
Yeah, this is the tough one. Like,
I feel like they've booked themselves into a corner again.
they just brought Roman back, like, and put him with Paul.
Yeah,
I'm going Roman.
but like, the Fiend literally won the title last Sunday. Got beaten after he won it, and Alexa Bliss is after turning heel.
I'm going Roman. You were just talking about how you need to accept these things about WWE. Roman Reigns wins. He gets results. Look, I think they're going to push Roman as the top heel on SmackDown now. Well, presumably.
I'm gonna go Fiend.
Yeah.
And
like, I feel
you know
okay.
You know what I want, and what I want for the Fiend to be pin Braun, whatever. Or you know what, the way it works, I wouldn't even mind if he pins Roman, right?
Okay, finish one.
And then, okay, or the way I'll do it is the Fiend pins Roman,
Okay.
right?
How? Just beats him, like.
Just beats him, and Paul, like, on SmackDown then after the next day, Paul, like, Roman's like kind of feeling sorry for himself or whatever, and Paul just tears into Roman and is like, you're not the suffering succotash loser that you were now a Paul Heyman guy and you're going to act like one, and stuff like that, and you get more and more of a heel Roman then.
Yeah.
And that's where he wins the
Paul
title.
corrupts him, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. The way I'm going to do it, I'm going to change. I'm going to go the Fiend, because I think there's money actually in a Fiend Roman feud, and I think you need to build that, not just do it on a week, obviously.
Yeah.
So yes, Braun is there to take the pin. I think the Fiend will win because he'll like. I think you sow the seeds that the Fiend knows that like Roman is like his kryptonite kind of thing, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have him like mystically bloody like vanish Roman out of the match or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like turn the lights down, lights come off, Roman's gone, and Paul Heyman's like, where the hell is Roman gone? And like the Fiend just takes a match in a Braun Strowman and turns into a singles match. Do that. Just write Roman, and then Roman can come back on SmackDown and be like, whoa, what the heck? Like, I mean, and then you can build a feud then from there.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Because, yeah.
What'd you do with Braun?
I don't know.
Take him off TV
Right him off for a while. The man drove 21 hours to Wisconsin, only to be called to say, come back to wrestle Goldberg. he
didn't even tell him to wrestle.
come
Goldberg.
back, you could be wrestling.
And he thought, oh, great, I'm going to be wrestling fucking
Gronk. I always give him the celebrities. Yeah. Give Braun a break. Like, figure out, like, WWE shouldn't be afraid to, like, should give someone a break just to figure out what to do with them.
Yeah.
And you can figure out.
And not just leave him on TV with nothing to do. Finn Balor.
Maybe have Braun and Alexa as a heel duo. Maybe. I don't know who
Twisted Monster.
I don't know who you feud with them though, but like, I mean, you could. Yeah, I don't know. We can all agree though.
Keith Lee and Miriam.
They're on Raw.
Yeah.
Put them over on Raw.
Same set, Billy.
No, like,
Thunderdome.
still real to me, damn.
What is it? It just turns red and they just
It's still real to me.
It burns.
Leave me alone. This is all I have.
Yeah.
So that's Payback. I'm looking forward to the main event. I won't lie.
I'm just curious about it.
I'm looking forward to the main event. Other than that, I can kind of give the show a miss, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. Not happily though.
Yeah. Right, so we leave it there.
We'll leave it there. Stay tuned next week for our all-out coverage 2020.
We'll be reviewing
Payback. We'll be letting you know whether
Woo.
we won or not.
Woohoo.
Alright, and we'll talk to you next week. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at JBWrestling1998. And yeah, talk to you soon.